Rasna. But let me start with you. Your reason to why you picked this very topic for your cover page.
Even before I was hired, actually, I had seen a picture of Sobia and it just made me instantly happy. There was something about her which was so attractive, and I think I'd seen it on the gram, and I was like, you know, if I get this job, she's going to be my cover girl one day. And it was just for the fact that she was so open about who she is and so confident. And it's not easy. As somebody who's been in the digital space, who's put herself out there, I know how many insecurities we all face, and as women especially, in this, not just in this country, but in the world, we face this. And for me to get that, I kind of got this strength through Sobia, which I could see translating through her pictures, which was like, you know what, this is me, this is who I am, and I'm going to own it. And that's why I didn't want to kind of restrict the magazine or this issue specifically only about body size, but I wanted to make body wholesome. And bodies, or as always we say, it's body, mind and soul, right? So with this issue, that's what I hope to deliver, is body, mind and soul.
Body, mind and soul. And I heard one of you say that, you know, enough of body positivity. This is more about, I even read that comment from Sobia herself. Sobia, why don't you tell me, this whole conversation around body positivity, you've really been a champion, the cheerleader for this conversation yourself. But to move from body positivity to body neutrality, what's been your journey?
I feel like, you know, it was always a topic of discussion, being a larger size. And it was, I think, till my early 20s, I didn't start changing how I looked at myself. Because I guess when you're in the same society for years and that's what you've been taught, you kind of tend to believe everything that's thrown at you. And being from Southeast Asia, where you're bigger, nothing nice is said to you. So I feel like, you know, the whole topic, it's just something that everyone has heard. It doesn't matter which size you are, what color you are, because you're a woman or I wouldn't even like box it to women, other genders as well. Anything feminine or different is always frowned upon. And the whole body positivity thing, I feel like, you know, in the comment section, you always see people saying things like, oh, she's promoting obesity and stuff like that. And that's not what body positivity was. It was to, I mean, it still is, right? It is to embrace yourself as who you are. It has nothing to do with your size, your shape, your color, your race, or your age.
True, and who decides a certain set size that's appealing?
Yeah,
Today,
and it's always
you are
right.
You know, every size is appealing. It's just in the eyes of it's to the eyes of the beholder.
I just feel so many times, like, you know, like Sobia also mentioned, we're just projected through a lens. Like, I find it extremely rude, and now at a certain age, I find it very surprising that women always, especially women to each other, the way we comment to each other, right? Oh, have you lost weight? Oh, have you put on weight? Oh, are you tan? Are you not tan? Like, these are things which kind of like always leave me gobsmacked, and I'm like always looking and I'm like, that's not the way you want to greet somebody, right? That's not how you meet somebody.
First of all, you can't hate yourself, right?
Exactly.
You've got to live with your body. And the best way to live a happy life is to start loving what you have.
And
if you can't change it, then deal with it.
And it's so hard in that sense, right? Because we are always taught to look at ourselves also. Am I too fat? Am I too thin? Am I slouching? Am I not walking straight? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And this is something I have gone through myself.
Putting a big girl on the cover was a big deal in, say, 2016 when Ashley Graham was on the cover of Sports Illustrated and all of that. Those were the days when it was an anomaly. Now I think the whole idea has become that this is the norm.
Yeah.
We got to move beyond, you know, stopping and looking at an image and saying, oh, wow, they put a big girl on the cover. It should just be that she's aspirational and that's why she's on the cover. And this change has been gradual, but it's surely moved in a positive direction. And I think covers like this will further reinforce how we look at what fashion magazine covers should or should not be.
Yeah, that's lovely. And what I like about this, the conversation at all, the cover article for Harper's, is the fact that Rasna insisted on having like-minded people or people who feel the same get on board to actually narrate the story or write the story. So you chose Harned to do this interview. Rasna, what was the thought behind it? And we'll bring Harned on that.
when I came on board, the thought behind every issue, I hope we can kind of accomplish that, is that we don't want to do, like I said, we don't want to do tokenism. When, like Sonal said, I did not put Sobia on the cover because she was a larger size or we were putting a big girl on the cover. It was truly because of the person. Like I said, she radiated this attraction towards me. When I saw her on the gram, there was some happiness. I was aspiring to be like her. Like, she was owning up. She's a great clothes horse. She has great knowledge of fashion. She has her roots deep-seated in India while she lives in another country. Yeah. She understands our culture. So there are so many things that kind of did this. And I did not want to tell her story because there are certain things I just don't relate. Like, those are things I've not experienced. So I did not want to be that person who tells her story when I can't relate to it. And that's why I wanted to bring in Harnid on board, because Harnid's been has been a champion about talking about her body online. She's spoken about so many things. She speaks about diet, she speaks about exercise, she speaks about clothing and how in her day-to-day life it affects her. So I knew they would connect on a certain level. In fact, even the stylist for Sobia is somebody who actually herself happens to be a plus size.
Lovely.
And she was so happy to be on board. And we did not, again, we wanted to have Sobia to have fun with fashion. We don't want people to feel like, oh, we're a certain size, we can only be draped like this, or we can only wear these clothing. We went all out and about with her. And it was so nice.
Even when you're styling someone who's big, and believe me, I myself am a plus size, you're always looking for a slimming effect.
Yeah, but
you're always aiming at looking slimmer.
But we had a stylist on board, and we went to, between Sonal and I, we went to a couple of stylists. And you know, when we went, Janvi, who styled this, she and my mood board was an exact match, which was like, okay, we're going to have fun with fashion, and there is no limitation to it. We did not want to restrict Sobia.
Yeah.
Why restrict somebody? She wants to wear this, she's going to wear it.
How far have we come when we speak of body positivity? Have we really reached that stage of body neutrality? And this whole conversation around, body positivity is basically okaying obesity. There's a lot of conversation around that as well. Do bust some myths for us.
Body positivity didn't start in abstraction, it started in the 60s with fat politics, which is an incredibly radical way of thinking about fat bodies and how they belong to the world. And it has been co-opted slowly and steadily by brands and by capitalism at large, and essentially defanged. While that has been good on some level, where a lot of people have found ability to understand their own bodies and find peace with them, I do think that body positivity has deviated from the politics of itself over the years, which was about equal rights, equal pay, equal medical care for fat people, which is something we're still struggling with on a day-to-day basis. Today, stats prove that if you're a fat woman, you're less likely to get a promotion, you're less likely to get a pay raise, you're less likely to get, a yearly bonus, or you're going to get less than what your colleagues are going to get. Medical care, especially for fat women, is incredibly contentious.
Gosh.
So,
I didn't know that.
Have we?
Yeah. Do elaborate for me.
So, medical care for fat women usually revolves around their weight. So, if you, for example, go with fatigue, they're going to tell you, oh, it's because you're fat and you don't really know how to manage your weight. Fat women are more likely to have PCOS, which is a metabolic and lifestyle disease, which can have a lot more behind it than just fatness. There are comorbidities involved that often do not reflect effectively because we do not actually get any kind of diagnostic testing done, because doctors usually just say, oh, it's because you're fat. So many fat women are suffering from, say, for example, cervical stress. They're suffering and living with, lifestyle problems that could possibly be very easily solved if they were given care that they actually needed. Fun fact, a lot of doctors perceive fat people to have a higher pain tolerance than they perceive thinner people to. So we actually do not get the kind of anesthetic or required as any other person would.